Welcome back to another episode of The Girls Encounter. My name is Yeleni Gonzalez, and I am the host of the Girls Encounter podcast. So, this time around, we're going to be doing things a little different. I'm going to be doing a couple of solo episodes for this season. I'm super excited and super nervous as well to kind of talk to you guys because I don't really know how much I can talk by myself. I feel like I can talk a lot, but most of these episodes are going to be very informational. They're going to be experience related, and hopefully they would help you in some way, shape, or form. So today's episode is going to be about thriving in your healthy girl era. So as some of you may know, I've been diagnosed with PCOS since 2022. Your girl has been going through it in terms of eating, losing weight. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down, but every single day we're getting to it. Today's episode, I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that I do to maintain my PCOS symptoms under control and the way that I kind of stay motivated to go to the gym every day and stay in routine with my workouts and my eating habits. The first thing I'm going to talk about is nutrition. So when it comes to food, I've always had a very unhealthy relationship with food in terms of like snacking. Whenever I would be stressed out, I would always snack. I am a foodie. I love to eat at a good restaurant. I love some good food. And after learning that I had PCOS, I kind of did some research. I was told by the doctors to basically like eat nothing. And I was like, okay, this is not going to work out for me. So over the time doing my research, what I found out was that gluten-free and dairy-free was a good diet for me in the beginning, and also intermittent fasting. But over time, I've learned to allow myself the freedom to kind of eat whatever I want when I can. But with that comes me knowing that I might get bloated or I might go into brain fog. If I want to eat comfort food, I need to make sure that I've already reached my goals for the week. And what I try to do now is at least eat healthy for 5 days out of the week and give myself time to not eat unhealthy like both the other 2 days, but like give myself some leniency in terms of like 1 or 2 meals that might be unhealthy. So it's not like I'm eating the full 2 days like unhealthy. No, I'm not doing that. It'll be like 1 or 2 meals in between those 2 days where I can eat like whatever I want. But I'll know that, for example, if I'm going to eat some pizza or if I'm going to eat something that's very high in starch, I might get bloated. So what I do now before I eat those foods is I would drink some tea, or I'll have some lemon water with me and drink it before I eat the food. And then after that, my body might bloat, but it's not going to bloat as bad as it normally would before. Another thing that I've learned with food is that you have to make a very conscious decision when it comes to changing your eating habits, because if you don't make the conscious decision mentally, then everything else is going to go to shit. The thing I like to do when I'm making conscious eating decisions is figuring out how are these foods going to benefit me for my goals. Now with movement and exercising, so right now I am exercising 5 to 6 times a week. I have one rest day. Before I didn't have a rest day. Well, I did have a rest day, but it was like an active recovery, so I was still going to the gym and still going to the sauna, so it wasn't really a rest day. But I've learned over time that you do need to allow your body to rest. So now I'll have like one rest day during the week. But moving your body is super important. One of the things that I see a lot of girls like to do is do like a 30-minute walk in the morning or sometimes during the day. If you have the luxury of being able to go to the gym with your kids, that is a blessing. And this is not a sponsored video, but shout out to LA Fitness for having the kids club. And if you're a mom out there that's trying to get her workout in, check out your nearest LA Fitness and ask them if they have a kids club. It's literally $10 per kid every month, and I feel like that's very helpful for a lot of moms that are trying to work out, because a lot of us don't have the luxury to go to gyms that allow babysitting. So yeah, I would always recommend like checking out your nearest gym and asking them like, do you guys have a kids club? How much would it be? And what days are you open? And I know that that saves a lot of time for us moms when we want to work out and we want to achieve our goals. It's much easier being able to bring our kids rather than having to struggle finding someone to leave them at home with or trying to do a home workout, because I'm not a home workout type of girl. I like to be in the gym. I've been doing a lot of movement. I've been doing a lot of running as well. I have a 10K race coming up this weekend and a half marathon next month. I don't know how I'm going to do the half marathon, but we in there. We're going to do that. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. So yeah, movement is very important. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like, you can literally YouTube different exercises for whatever goal it is that you're trying to reach. Like, if you want a bigger butt, you can Google how to get bigger glutes on YouTube, or Google, and like a million different resources are going to come out. So want to make a change, start by taking action and Googling or YouTubing what it is that you're trying to do. We're going to talk about hydration and sleep. So I always drink a lot of water. I've been drinking a lot more water than I do juices. I'll drink juice like once a day, probably for like breakfast or something. And then I barely drink soda. Like, I like soda, but if I do drink soda, it'll be like a good like fountain Coke with some ice. And that's like very rare for me. It'll be like probably 1 or 2 times a month that I have soda, but soda is not good for you. So I usually drink 4 Stanleys a day, which is a gallon of water, because if you know, like the big Stanleys, they're like 32 ounces. And I feel like that's the easiest way for me to track how much water I'm drinking, because in the morning, by the time I get out of the gym, I already drink 2. Midday, I'm already on 3. And before the day ends, I'm already on 4. So I like to drink a lot of water. And in terms of sleeping, like, I have been wearing my Garmin to bed. I'm not sure if the Apple Watch does have these features too, because ever since I got my Garmin, I haven't taken it off. But I've been aiming for 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, because that is super important for your body. And as adults, that's how much time we need. Usually my bedtime is like from 10 to 6. I'll try to wind down by 9 o'clock and get off my phone. But to be honest with you guys, I've been having so much trouble doing that lately. The past few months, it was a little easier to do. But these past couple of weeks, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I'm in my content bag that I've been like producing a lot of content. I have been on my phone longer than I should be. And it hasn't really affected my sleeping schedule, but it has affected me in the sense of like, I would like overload and overcompensate on social media, and then when it's time for me to actually be on social media scrolling and commenting back, I'm not doing that. Now what I like to do is I like to be on social media during the day and put my phone down at least by like 8:39. If I'm gonna comment, make sure that I comment, and then consciously tell myself like, okay, we need to get off the phone. This is not healthy for us. Studies show that when you are using your phone before bed, you don't really sleep as well. You don't get a lot of REM sleep, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it is. That's what it says. That's why I'm like, girl, we need to stop. I come across a couple of people that have trouble sleeping, and I always like recommend, I know like melatonin is not for everyone. I personally never use melatonin, but another thing that I like to do before I fall asleep is put some spearmint oil or lavender oil on my wrist, and I'll put it like behind my ear, and that would knock me the fuck out. And another thing that I like to do sometimes, I don't do it every single night, but I'll do it most nights, is drink some chamomile tea like an hour before I go to bed, and that shit will start like bringing my body down. And once my body starts coming down, it's like, babes, all right, it's time to go to sleep. Personally, don't like listening to white noise, because I feel like it's louder than brown noise. And if you know, you know. I prefer brown noise over white noise. I guess it's the way that the tune goes for the brown noise that makes me fall asleep better. I'm not really sure what it is, but I prefer brown noise over white noise. Let's talk about stress management. So one of the ways that I've been able to thrive in my healthy girl era was releasing any stress that I could not control. I used to be super stressed out with people. It would just take over me, and I would have so much depression that I would not even do anything. So over the time, what I've been doing in order to manage my stress is meditating every morning. But before I meditate, I always pray. Every single day that I open my eyes, I always thank God for another day. And I will grab my phone. So whenever I do grab my phone, the first app that I go to is the Bible app. And I made it a habit to kind of do that, because I know that I'll always grab my phone. But I do have the Bible app on my tablet. So, and I also have 2 physical Bibles. So I've been figuring out whether or not I want to continue to grab my phone. But I feel like it's much better for me to grab my phone, read the Bible app, and it'll give me a streak for the day. And I like the prompts that they use in the Bible app. So after I use the Bible app, I will meditate using the Nike training app. They have different meditations for like 2 to 5 minutes. If you don't have any of these apps, you can definitely use YouTube, or you can use Google for whatever de-stressing routine you're trying to do. And after I meditate, I like to journal right away. So those are like the first three things that I do before I get my day started. And it definitely helps set the tone for the day. I have been working on like making intentions for the day because that's something that I struggle with. Like, I love to set an intention, but I don't do it every single day. And I feel like that's why some of my days are like whatever. And then some of my other days are better than others. But I feel like doing those three things in the morning definitely help me manage my stress throughout the day, and it kind of helps me be more on top of the things that I need to. And I would knock out most of my tasks whenever I do these three things. So in terms of dealing with people, like, I'm still learning and I'm still growing. Like, if it's out of my control, like, I'm just not gonna deal with it. I'm not gonna care about it. I'm just gonna keep it moving. And especially as a PCOS girly, like, stress, we cannot stress. We cannot stress. And I feel like I subconsciously told myself that a few months ago, like, because I've been taking my PCOS weight loss journey super serious since 2022, but like the past few months I've been really like honing in on PCOS, my symptoms and everything. And when I started to read more about stress and like how our cortisol, which is our stress hormone, how it like, if it's too high, like it'll cause belly fat. I was like, bitch, I don't want no fucking belly fat. Like, I'm trying to get rid of this belly fat. So stress, bye. Like, I'm just like, if it's anything that's gonna be stressing me out, I don't want it. I don't want it. If it's like an activity that I'm gonna do and it's gonna stress me out, I'm not gonna do it. If it's family and friends that's gonna be there that's gonna stress me out, I'm not going. I'm just not dealing with the stress. 2025, bitch, we're stress fucking free. So if you're bringing me the stress, bye. And if I'm bringing stress into your life, say bye to me too. Like, just say bye. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about is a challenging negative self-talk and celebrating your small wins. So I feel like I've overcome imposter syndrome like 1,000 times. And for those of you who don't know what imposter syndrome is, it's basically where you start to feel like the things that you're doing are not good enough, or you shouldn't be doing them. And I feel like a lot of us suffer from that, especially when we surround ourselves with people who are not on the same frequency as us. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're trying to start a business or you're trying to grow, do YouTube, do content or whatever, and you have friends and family surrounding you that are not motivating you or inspiring you to do more, and they're actually like talking down on you or trying to find a reason why you shouldn't do it, I feel like that is like one of the main things that can trigger like imposter syndrome. It can also be within. Like, you can have a very good support system and you can have people like cheering you on, being all the way for you, and you can still feel like in the back of your head like you're not doing anything. And it sucks because it happens to the best of us, and it happens to the people who are actually like doing a lot of things. So what I would say with imposter syndrome, write down all of the things that you've accomplished. And I feel like reading the things that you accomplished kind of make you feel better about yourself and actually allow you to step into that level of wanting to accomplish more. For negative self-talk, it was so bad. Like, 2023, 2024, those were my heaviest like moments physically. I went up to 232 pounds, and then I was dropping weight, and then I was going back up and dropping weight and going back up. And I was down bad. I was down so fucking bad, y'all. Like, I would be like, okay, I got this gym routine. I'm very like gym savvy, like when it comes to like working out and things like that. So I was like, okay, I got this down pack. You know, I'll make a routine. I'll be like, this is the clothes I'm gonna wear. I'm gonna look good. Like, I got this. Y'all, I would fucking oversleep because I was like, bitch, you're not getting anywhere. I never told myself that I was fat. Like, I would just be like, we're heavy. Cause I don't like the word fat. Like, I don't like the word fat. But like over time, I would make jokes like, okay, I'm fat, but not as fuck. But you know, those are like things that it would be to like lighten up my mood. It wouldn't be for anyone else, because I don't really give a fuck what anyone else had to say. But I was just like, oh my God, like, I'm so heavy. This is not gonna work out. Like, my clothes is big. Y'all, when I was not fitting into my clothes, I became my worst enemy. And it was so bad because it would be like, we had plans, we were going to go somewhere. Bitch, if I was not fitting in them fucking pants, I was not going anywhere. And then my whole day will be ruined, and then I'm ruining everybody else's day because my day is ruined. And when it, like, if you know me, it's just like, if this shit is wrong, like, I'm not going. I'm not going. So that was one of the most like down moments that I had. And I had to overcome it by learning how to love my body. Like, regardless of what was going on, every single day I had to tell myself, like, I love my body. This is the body that I'm in right now. We're just having some issues. We're going through it. We're learning, and we're going to get through this. Bitch, we're going to get through this. So I feel like that's one of the things that also helped me build my confidence, because I was like, girl, skinny or fat, you look good. Like, face card always give. Body's giving regardless of what weight you're at. Like, it's giving. So when it comes to celebrating small wins, I feel like everyone loves to celebrate themselves, especially when they're doing something good. I feel like that's super, super important, because it's just like, if you made a goal and you achieved your goal, celebrate. Like, even if it's the smallest things. And I always tell people this, like, you don't need to go so hard. You don't need to be in the gym 5 days a week. You don't need to journal 5 days. Like, even if you journal once, even if you go to the gym once a week, if you start applying yourself and you start doing things that will help you reach your goals, the littlest thing can be celebrated. Now, I'm not saying, like, go to the gym one day and just eat a donut or eat a 6-pack of double stuffed Oreos, because I used to do that. And I used to be in the gym like 5 days a week. I'm like, all right, bitch, on the 6th day, I'm eating these double stuffed Oreos, and who's going to say what? Now, we're at the mindset that, like, okay, once I finish this 10K race, I can have some Oreos, or I could have a chopped cheese. Because you also have to be mindful, like, you don't want to self-sabotage by giving yourself the desires that you did not really deserve. So I feel like start celebrating your small wins slowly, but start to acknowledge when it's like, all right, how far do I have to go in order to get something that I know might not be good for my body or might not be good for my health? Like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to have a little drink, have a little drink, but when are you going to have the drink? Don't have the drink after you go to the gym, after you've gone to the gym 5 days out of the week, and that you haven't drank none of those 5 days. So, in conclusion to today's episode, we talked about how eating consciously is important for you. We talked about sleep routines, stress management, and overcoming negative self-talk. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my podcast today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like this video on YouTube at The Girls Encounter, and check us out on all podcast platforms. If there's any topics that you want me to talk about, please feel free to DM me on Instagram at The Girls Encounter, and I hope to see you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning into The Girls Encounter. The Girls Encounter out.